King Room. Hand-dipped strawberries and a bottle of champagne as well, $99. Details at thebighornresort.com. And also the family water park package available on February 14th as well at the Bighorn Resort. For less than $150, early check-in at 2 o'clock. You get 4 water park passes, pizza, and a pitcher of soda as well, all-inclusive. Valentine's Day at the Bighorn Resort. Again, thebighornresort.com. If I could sing, I'd sing to the rooftops about Brown's Automotive. Over 60 years now in Billings. Brown's Automotive, we use them, and there's 4 convenient locations. Brown's Auto Service on Broadwater, Brown's West Auto Service at the corner of Rosebud and 20th Street West, and 2 downtown locations, Automatic Transmission Company at 13th Street North and 1st Avenue North downtown, and Brown's Rebuild Center downtown at 18th Street North and 2nd Avenue North. And it's tune-ups, tire alignments, complete auto repairs, transmission specialist. Over 60 years in Billings. Brown's Automotive, BrownsAutoBillings.com.
And the next question is, what do a cookie, a stick of gum, and a French fry have in common?
Oh, you eat them!
You find them between couch cushions?
No! They all cost more than filing your taxes. When you use IRS Free File, it's free. Get a choice of brand name software and help if you need it. Join the 40 million people who have already saved. Free File. It's fast, it's safe, it's free. Get started at freefile.irs.gov.
You use Tearless Baby Shampoo because it's gentle on your baby's eyes. You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You always test the bathwater to make sure it's not too hot. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You make sure she wears a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You put on his sunscreen, even when he's embarrassed his friends will see. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Is your child facing the right way in the car seat? Is the seat too big or too small? How do you know when it's time to move your child into the next type of seat? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/therightseat. That's safercar.gov/therightseat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We have a bit of a wind chill this morning. All kinds of blinds in Billings, all kinds of blinds. MT.com. Our temperature check feels more like 13 above. Checking our weather bug thermometer, but the air temperature about 21, but about 35 for a high in Billings this afternoon. From the Red Line Computer Studios, West Billings, across the street from Goodwill, we're broadcasting to a worldwide audience via the TuneIn smartphone mobile app, which is a free download for your iPhones and Androids. Also, we're on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is Livin Large Larry Live, and you can just click on that. You'll see the YouTube icon. Just click on that at livinlargelarry.com. And check us out on YouTube. We appreciate that. It's been about a week since we had that thing going. And just a short rant coming up. And it goes back to a story from last week about 20-year-old Harlan Hinkle from Billings. Hell, just a short rant on the way. Need to get out of my system on the way. Livin Large Larry Live.
Juice, Mom! Juice, juice, juice!
Mommy, why are we going to the store?
Mom, I want juice!
Mom!
Juice, juice, juice!
Mommy!
Juice, juice,
Mom!
juice, juice.
Your child will have different needs at different stages of life, and that includes the car seat. That's right, the car seat. A car seat isn't one size fits all. You have to have the right seat based on your child's age, weight, and height. See, car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. But there's a website that gives you all the information you need how to ride in the back seat with a seatbelt. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. Go to safercar.gov/therightseat. That's safercar.gov/therightseat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I'm kind of getting used to N2 cryotherapy. Carrie and I went for our 3rd or 4th visit over the weekend. N2 cryotherapy, wellness therapy, has been in Billings since last July with Cindy Graff and her team over at N2 Cryotherapy, 805 24th Street West, number 4. If you've got aches and pains, if you've got arthritis, if you're an athlete, this is the perfect routine as part of your pre or post workout. N2 Cryotherapy, give them a try. N2cryo.com, again in Billings at 805 24th Street West, number 4. N2 Cryotherapy. So at the end of last year, for this year. 50 new laws were approved for the 2016 tax season. Do you know them all? Lisa Woods of Woods Accounting does, and she can guide you through it. Lisa Woods, make her your accountant for personal, for your family, for your business. Woods Accounting at 1211 Grand Avenue, suite number 4 in Billings, woodsaccounting.com. And by the way, Obamacare, what does that mean for you and your taxes? Lisa Woods, Woods Accounting can let you know that. woodsaccounting.com. Christina, KK, Jamie, Sue, and Carrie ready to serve you at their full-service salon and spa, Quick Spa on Grand at 2348 Grand Avenue. Online details at Quick. I suppose this would be the rant of the day today, but the story keeps sticking out from Billings. 20-year-old Harlan Henkel raped teens and molested a 6-year-old, been recommended for a pre-release program. This was a story from last week in Billings, and it's just been bugging me. Here's the deal. My 2 kids, they're young men now. Devin's 19, Bobby's 22. If they committed a crime, I would expect them to pay their debt to society without fringe benefits. And this 20-year-old, I'm sure he's got some smarts, and one day that frontal lobe is going to mature, but until then, he was sentenced to 25 years or more, and 20 years suspended, and 5 years recommended for a pre-release program, which to me sometimes is like a country club prison. I don't think it's going to teach the kid anything. I don't think it sends a good message to the community. So I'm just not understanding it. What kind of message does that send? Hey, you can rape a 13-year-old and just get 5 years in a country club prison. My rant for the day. Just bugs me. Livin Large Larry live, the Red Line Computer Studios, West Billings, Montana. Glad you're here. And I say you here, I'm talking like worldwide listeners, Germany, Japan, China, Mexico. Have some Russian ladies that listen to the show, Canadians as well. And all over the United States, I think every state now has at least a handful of streamers that check the show out. Maybe not right this second, but over the course of the week, we get close to 2,000 people logging in to livinlargelarry.com. If you click onto the website, log onto the website, you can click your way through with YouTube. Also, you can download the TuneIn. The TuneIn app, it's free for your smartphones, your iPhones, Androids. We have YouTube, TuneIn, and you can listen to the player at livinlargelarry.com. And remember, there's never a G on Livin. Coming up a little after 7 this morning, head coach of the Billings Wolves, the IFL, the Indoor Football League, Chris Dixon, will be live in our studio talking to Chris Dixon Sports, a new company that he's launching, mainly for kids to get them in shape. And again, he's the head football coach for the Billings Wolves, who kick off their season for year number 2, coming up on the 20th of February. So Chris Dixon in after 7 Mountain Time here in our Red Line Computer Studios in Billings, Montana. Livin Large Larry live. All kinds of blinds in Billings. Temperature check. Feels like 13 with the wind chill factored in, otherwise 21. It's going to warm up later on this afternoon, though. Our Billings area forecast from Jade Furman of Landmark Realtors, MontanaProperty.com. She can provide a market analysis to clients wanting to list and sell their home, including specialized consulting in current trends and colors and styles and modifications and more. Jade Furman of Landmark Realtors, MontanaProperty.com. A bit of snow may stick to the ground in Billings this week, at least for the first part of the week, about a half inch to an inch, and then it should be all melted again by midweek to the latter part of the week. So around 30 today, a bit of a breeze blowing around, mid-30s by the middle part of the week, and then closer to 45 or so by the weekend. Expanded look at the forecast, log on to livinlargelarry.com, click on the weather button. Meantime, the forecast on the show from Broughton Construction and Home Repair, Braton. Broughton Construction and Home Repair, offering 30 years of experience in concrete, remodeling, roofing, and siding, as well as a specialized consulting service to revitalize your home for improved livability or increased value prior to sale. Broughton Construction and Home Repair. Find them on Facebook. And a look at news coming up. Billings Morning News on Livin Large Larry Live and livinlargelarry.com. Livin Large Larry Live, the show, our replay sponsor is from Keystone Mortgage in Billings. Their Main in the Heights location still open, but I stopped by their new location, downtown Billings at Keystone Mortgage, a much more spacious space. Keystone Mortgage, our replay sponsor. You're not just a number, you're our number one priority from Keystone Mortgage. Well, lovebirds, there's a package at the Bighorn Resorts just for you for Valentine's Day coming up on Sunday, February 14th. First of all, $99 all-inclusive package with a standard king room, hand-dipped strawberries, and a bottle of champagne as well, $99. Details at thebighornresort.com, and also the family water park package available on February 14th as well at the Bighorn Resort. For less than $150, early check-in at 2 o'clock. You get 4 water park passes, pizza, and a pitcher of soda as well, all-inclusive. Valentine's Day at the Bighorn Resort. Again, thebighornresort.com. All kinds of blinds, mt.com. Temperature check, a colder morning than the last couple of weeks. So if you're getting out and about, it's 21, mid-30s in Billings for a high. And expanded look at the forecast, livinlargelarry.com. Click on that weather button there. Listen to this list of restaurants participating in this year's Taste of Billings at the Billings Depot coming up in February, the 5th and the 6th. On Friday, Commons 1882, Jake's 10 at the Northern, Wild Ginger will be on hand, Bin 119, and more Cajun Fatties, and wine as well. And then on Saturday, Walker's Grill, Bistro Enzo, Harper and Madison, and at least a dozen wines then. That is led by Chef Mike Callahan. It is Taste of Billings. It's back at the Billings Depot. You can log on for tickets at billingsdepot.org. February 5th and 6th. We source out ktvq.com, colorate.com, and the Billings Gazette for the Billings Morning News. And our news is brought to you by Rimrock Flooring, locally owned from Mark Wotan and his crew. Going on 2 years in business here, Rimrock Flooring at 1440 Central Avenue. Mark Wotan has actually 11 years of flooring experience in the industry. Rimrock Flooring, mt.com, online, and also on Facebook. A man already in jail is charged with the break-in at the depot in downtown Billings, a story we reported on last week. 61-year-old David Giusti, also known as Hazel Young Colt, is charged with 1 count of felony burglary. Court documents state Giusti was arrested on Wednesday for public urination. Court documents also show detention officers found items belonging to the depot while booking Giusti into jail. The depot's executive director, Jennifer Mercer, says the building was broken into Monday night. She says several items are broken and someone had gone through the offices. Mercer also says wine stored in the conference room for an event scheduled for this past Tuesday was stolen. Court documents state officers found several bottles of wine hidden in areas around the outside of the depot. The documents go on to say officers found 62 of the 82 bottles that were reported missing. And a former employee of Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Billings will serve 5 years on federal probation after she admitted stealing nearly $289,000 from the company over 11 years. And from Renee Ann Zeneker, she says, for what it's worth, I'm really, really sorry. She said during a sentencing hearing on Wednesday in U.S. District Court in Billings. Zeneker said she wanted to provide her children things that she never had. Earlier, she said she spent the money on groceries, clothes, utilities, medical bills, and her children's cell phone bills. Zeneker faced a prison range of 21 months to 27 months for her guilty plea back in October to 1 count of wire fraud. Assistant U.S. Attorney Colin Rubich recommended a 2-year sentence, saying it would send the wrong message to the community if Zeneker were given little to no jail time. She gets no jail time. Zeneker's motivation for stealing was because she felt she was being, quote, mistreated and unappreciated, and not because she was desperate for money. Her $56,000 salary was well beyond the median income of Montanans. Assistant federal defender David Merchant successfully argued for probation, saying that although Zeneker had failed as an employee and a parent, she gave herself up. Probation would allow Zeneker, who has struggled to find a job, to begin paying the money back. Facebook says it's cracking down on online gun sales with a new policy that bars private individuals. Livin Large Larry live here on Internet Radio Show from Billings, Montana, the Red Line Computer Studios. We're across the street from Goodwill in the west part of Billings, Montana. Happy to have you here and hope I assume you had a pretty decent weekend outside of Billings anyway. It was pretty nice. Another nice weekend to get outdoors, and things have changed weather-wise. We'll get to that in a second here. This week will be a little bit cooler than it has been the last couple of weeks. I put on Facebook about midday yesterday, hey, I think winter's over in Billings. Yeah, I think winter is over. And then probably within 10 minutes, we had rain, we had sleet, we had snow, we had ice, and then we had the sun come out again. So all kinds of blinds in Billings, all kinds of blindsmt.com. Check out what Bobby Gray does, some of his work's on display over at Fred's Appliance off of King Avenue. Check his work out there. All kinds of blindsmt.com. Our temperature check in Billings anyway at 21 degrees. It'll be colder than we're used to the last couple of weeks here in Billings. Our Billings area forecast from Broughton Construction and Home Repair. Trustworthy, knowledgeable, and no job too big or too small this time of year for Broughton Construction and Home Repair. Get those winter projects done, remodeling chores done before your spring and summer home sale. Broughton Construction Home Repair, Braton. You can find them on Facebook. About 30 and a chance for snow showers today, and about another half inch tonight. And then after that, pretty much no more accumulation of snow in Billings anyway for the rest of the week. It'll warm up gradually this week, mid-30s by midweek, and closer to 50 towards the end of the week into the weekend. Our Billings area forecast, get a 3 to 5 day look. Click on the weather bug button at livinlargelarry.com. Meantime, the forecast on the show, courtesy of Jade Furman of Landmark Realtors in Montana, property.com. Jade has a long-time reputation of ethical business practices and attention to detail. Jade Furman of Landmark Realtors, montanaproperty.com. And look at Billings Morning News on the way. Livin Large Larry Live. livinlargelarry.com and the TuneIn mobile app for your smartphones. And we're on YouTube. You can access all that through livinlargelarry.com. Remember, there's no G on livin'.
Today on Save on Taxes. We ask 100 people what costs less than filing your taxes with IRS Free File.
Car seat.
No! Erica, what do you think costs less than filing your taxes with IRS Free File?
A pair of shoes.
Wrong again. The correct answer is nothing costs less than filing your federal taxes with IRS Free File because it's absolutely free. That's right. With IRS Free File, you get brand-named software, online tax prep, and e-filing for free. The software helps you pick the right forms, find tax credits, and does the math for you. Free File even helps with the new healthcare provisions, and it's all for free.
So, did we win anything?
Everybody wins. freefile.irs.gov. It's fast, it's safe, it's free.
So at the end of last year, for this year, 50 new laws were approved for the 2016 tax season. Do you know them all? Lisa Woods of Woods Accounting does, and she can guide you through it. Lisa Woods, make her your accountant for personal, for your family, for your business. Woods Accounting at 1211 Grand Avenue, suite number 4 in Billings, woodsaccounting.com. And by the way, Obamacare, what does that mean for you and your taxes? Lisa Woods, Woods Accounting can let you know that. woodsaccounting.com. Christina KK, Jamie Sue, and Carrie ready to serve you at their full-service salon and spa, Quick Spa on Grand at 2348 Grand Avenue. Online details at quick-spa.com for spray tans, permanent makeup. Maybe you need that massage after the weekend. Deep tissue, hot stone body wraps, gel polish, nail art on your nails with Jamie Sue. All at Quick Spa on Grand Avenue in Billings, quick-spa.com. Well, lovebirds, there's a package at the Bighorn Resorts just for you for Valentine's Day coming up on Sunday, February 14th. First of all, $99 all-inclusive package with a standard king room, hand-dipped strawberries and a bottle of champagne as well, $99. Details at thebighornresort.com, and also the family water park package available on February 14th as well at the Bighorn Resort. For less than $150, early check-in at 2 o'clock. You get 4 water park passes, pizza, and a pitcher of soda as well, all-inclusive. Valentine's Day at the Bighorn Resort. Again, thebighornresort.com. All kinds of blinds in Billings. All kinds of blindsmt.com. Log on. Our temperature check, 21, 35 in Billings later. Redline Computer Studios, Billings, Montana, the west end of our town. For Livin Large Larry Live, livinlargelarry.com.
Join us at 1-888-858-1408.
We source out KTVQ.com, Color8.com, and the Billings Gazette for most of our news stories here on the show. Livin Large Larry Live. And the Billings Morning News from Rimrock Flooring in Billings at 1440 Central Avenue. Rimrock Flooring. Log on to the website, rimrockflooringmt.com. They're on Facebook, and they have product lines offered to you from outside the region that no one else can get at Rimrock Flooring. Missoula County Public Schools has launched an investigation after topless images were published in the latest issue of a high school student newspaper. The images were published in the Willard Alternative High School's newspaper, the Willard Wire, alongside an article about the Free the Nipple campaign, a national effort to allow girls and women to be topless in same situations that men and boys are allowed to be topless. The district is trying to recall every copy of the issue, which was released Wednesday at Willard and 3 other high schools, Big Sky, Hellgate, and Sentinel in Missoula. Investigators are still trying to figure out the identities of the people involved, and it's unclear if the topless individuals are students or if they are over the age of 18. The name of the author does appear, and there's a photo credit inside the paper. School officials said the paper is student-run, but most adults oversight before publishing. Apparently this time those rules were not followed. Christina Aragon has pushed her body to the limit time and time again as one of the top high school runners in the country, but choosing where to go to college over the last few months may have been the toughest thing she's ever had to do. But after careful consideration, the senior high star will head to Stanford in the fall. Christina Aragon chose Stanford over Notre Dame, if you were keeping track. There were shootings and a stabbing that broke out at a motorcycle show in Denver on Saturday afternoon, leaving 1 person dead. 2 rival motorcycle clubs were possibly involved in the violence at the Colorado Motorcycle Expo over the weekend. The Denver Post quoted a witness who didn't want to be identified because of fear of retaliation. She's saying the violence involved rival biker gangs. Police Chief Robert White said about 10,000 people were inside the National Western Complex a little after noon when the shots were fired. 1 person was fatally shot, 3 were wounded by gunfire, White said. 1 person was stabbed and 3 other people suffered injuries probably caused in a fight but not by weapons. No arrests have been made at this time. A school zone traffic stop led Billings police to 4 pounds of marijuana found in a man's vehicle. William Lawrence Jr. appeared Friday in Yellowstone County District Courts on a charge of criminal possession of drugs with intent to distribute. Judge David Carter set his bond at $15,000 during the hearing. According to court documents, police pulled Lawrence over on Tuesday for speeding in the Burlington Elementary School zone on Lewis. An officer noted that Lawrence was digging under his seat and appeared nervous. The officer asked to search the vehicle. Consent eventually came from Lawrence's probation officer, as Lawrence was under supervision for a previous conviction of burglary. According to court documents, Billings police found a large red suitcase that contained a bag of what appeared to be marijuana and some canisters. More vacuum-sealed bags of the substance were found in the truck. The total amount was measured at 4 pounds. The substance has been sent to the Montana State Crime Lab for further testing. Lawrence is scheduled to appear in Yellowstone County District Court on February 5th. He also faces a revocation of his suspended sentence from his previous conviction. 2 lost snowmobilers have been rescued near Big Sky in southwest Montana. The Gallatin County Sheriff's Office says 2 37-year-old men became disoriented Friday in the Buck Ridge Trail area. They did not have food, water, or survival gear. Madison County Sheriff's Office was contacted and requested help from Gallatin County. A rescue team found the snowmobilers with their machines stuck in the snow. They've been rescued. Rimrock Flooring at 1440 Central Avenue brings you the Billings Morning News. RimrockFlooringMT.com with a 5,000 square foot showroom. You can find them on Facebook. Rimrock Flooring. All kinds of blinds in Billings, all kinds of blinds, MT.com. Quick temperature check at 22:35 for high this afternoon in Billings. Redline Computer Studios, West Billings, for our show, Livin Large Larry Live. Log on to livinlargelarry.com and YouTube and the TuneIn mobile app for your smartphones, iPhones, and
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable, but how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Listen to this list of restaurants participating in this year's Taste of Billings at the Billings Depot coming up in February, the 5th and the 6th. On Friday, Commons 1882, Jake's 10 at the Northern, Wild Ginger will be on hand, Bin 119, and more Cajun fatties and wine as well. And then on Saturday, Walker's Grill, Bistro Enzo, Harper and Madison, and at least a dozen wines then. That is led by Chef Mike Callahan. It is Taste of Billings. It's back at the Billings Depot. You can log on for tickets at billingsdepot.org. February 5th and 6th. We'll run back an interview, a visit we had with Mayor Tom Hannell of Billings, Montana, coming up. A talk we had with the mayor midweek last week, and we'll run that coming back in a second here. LivinLargeLarry.com and Livin Large Larry Live, the show.
Hello, this is Michael Douglas. Pneumonia can be dangerous, especially for older people and for those who have diseases like asthma, emphysema, or chronic bronchitis. Fortunately, there's a vaccine that can immunize people against one of the most common forms of pneumonia. If you're over 60 or have a chronic lung disease, ask your doctor whether a pneumonia vaccine would be right for you. It could protect you from a serious illness or even save your life.
A message from the Will Rogers Institute. Visit us at wrinstitute.org.
Thanks to Keystone Mortgage in Billings, our show replay sponsor. You aren't just a number, you're our number one priority. Keystone Mortgage, you can find them on Facebook and check out their new location, 2442 First Avenue North. Keystone Mortgage, Billings' only mobile broker. Keystone Mortgage.
Livin Large Larry Live.
And as promised, Mayor Tom Hannell, Livin Large Larry Live. Hello, Mr. Mayor. How's your week going here so far?
It's going very good, Livin Large. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Glad that you took time out this week to join us on our internet radio show here, Livin Large Larry Live, broadcasting to the world. Boy, you guys had a long session earlier in the week. What transpired?
Well, let me tell you, Livin, it was much longer than I would have expected, that is for sure. We did have a couple of very important topics to discuss, one of which took much longer than I thought, but just the same, a very good discussion, a lot of public testimony, a lot of questions from council, and be it that we have some new council now, this is normal. Having been through this before, it takes time for new council to catch up and hear everything and pick up on everything going on. And in the end, the decision was a very positive one. We decided to continue with the downtown community policing intervention program, which has been extremely successful, primarily based, Larry, on the fact that it's been a huge cost savings for our local taxpayers.
All right, with the city of Billings moving forward, since you've been mayor, I mean, your whole platform has been growth and being proactive. What are we looking at coming up the next 3 months that, as citizens, we should be concerned about for the city of Billings?
Well, Larry, I'm very optimistic, as I always have been, being in the position of mayor. I don't expect any significant changes in the next 3 months, quarter of the year, if you wish. Things to continue as they are. As far as major projects to be undertaken, I don't know this time, but just the same, I will say that last year, 2015, we issued a record number of single-family housing permits. That's an indication that Billings is going to continue to grow, that the economy is still very strong, unemployment rate is low, very low. So I think pointing in a positive direction, but as I say, major projects involving the city of Billings, nothing that I would be able to discuss much in detail other than we are certainly working towards improving our wastewater treatment plant. That is an ongoing situation. In the end, estimates engineers more than $60+ million. and this is to comply with federal regulations and bring our plant up to the requirements of the code.
I'm sure you've heard in the news, I think it was yesterday or earlier in the week anyway, in Butte, Montana, about all 52 Butte police officers will be outfitted with body cameras, and I'm wondering if you would know if that would ever be something that would happen here for our Billings Police Department force here in town.
Well, Larry, I will say that we're using body cameras. We have several in use for different situations, different patrol units, investigative units, that type of thing. So it's already in the process as far as a requirement, whereas all of our officers will be equipped. That could be a while out. Obviously, we've got a much larger department than Butte Silver Bowl, and it'd be very, very costly. But in addition to that, there's still some unanswered questions, and that's the storage of that information. Where is the most appropriate place to store it, the safest place to store that information? And then when it comes to courtroom testimony, we need to be awfully careful. Our officers go on all types of calls. Some are very personal in nature, very confidential, private. And so to screen those recordings as to what we keep on record and what not, what should be available for public viewing and what should not, it's a very delicate procedure, and we need to be very cautious. So obviously we're sitting back where they are in use to some degree, but we're also learning from other departments the do's and don'ts, and we'll go from there.
And this is more of a county-wide topic, but there's been the last several weeks, there's been stories about overcrowding jails again here in Yellowstone County. And do you foresee any positive movement in that in the next in 2016 here, in expansion?
I do, Larry, and yes, that's a very serious concern and quite a burden for the county, trying to figure that process out, what they're going to do. What I expect is you're going to see more of this shifted towards the courts, the variable court hours, arraignment times, and try to accommodate the increase as far as arrests and court appearances in a more convenient manner, if you wish. Try to keep these people as much as we can out of jail. If there's alternatives, outside treatment, I'll be the first to say that not everyone, because they commit an offense, belongs in jail.
Right.
Many cases treated through a rehabilitation program, which has been very successful, monitoring by different methods. So nothing's going to happen real soon when it comes to the jail. We're just going to have to work around it and find other ways to handle the influx of prisoners.
And we should mention, this is not just all about the men's facility. There's a story out on the Billings Morning News this week as well that the women's side of the detention facility has over 500 inmates, and it was built for, I believe the number was, it was built for 286 inmates way back when.
Exactly. We tend to forget that whether it's a male or female doesn't make much difference when it comes to committing offenses. They both will make mistakes and commit offenses and have regrets for doing so, I'm sure in many cases. But the female population has increased, and that is very much a concern, be it that the state women's prison is here in Billings, the Passages program through Beta Alternatives is here in Billings, both of which are operating very well. Passages, as you know, a pre-release program. And this is where I'm saying that more of these prisoners may need to go into treatment facilities, into rehabilitation facilities. They may not belong behind bars, and we need to face that. Sure, they're a risk. They're not so much of a risk that we can't find other ways of treating and working with them.
Couple of personal notes out as you're selling real estate or at all the events that you attend and MC and like that, in your conversation with Robin and your family. Do you guys ever talk about this being an election year without giving away any of your personal secrets? What do you think of the Donald Trump thing and the Hillary Clinton thing and all that?
Well, I will say this, Larry, and I don't think it's any surprise to anyone. There's a great concern right now with our national leadership on the national level. Tremendous concern. And I think that concern carries over into the election. When you speak to people, the general public, what do you think? Who do you think you might support? Many times they'll just throw their hands in the air, and I think it's a little early to say at this point.
Right.
But at the same time, we all know that it's it's time for a change. We need to change the way we're doing business in many ways across the country, and that's obvious with the term of the president. That President Obama is nearing the end of his second term, so there will be a change. But at the same time, it's somewhat frightening, and we need to be supportive. We need to pay attention. I urge citizens to listen, to learn, to talk to people, gather as much information as possible, so when they do make that decision, hopefully they're making the best decision for our country.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild election year here, 2016. Mayor Tom Hanel with us, the mayor of the city of Billings, Montana. I'm glad you're along here at Livin Large Larry Live at livinlargelarry.com. And I noticed on Facebook you and the family had somewhat of a reunion in Denver last weekend. You saw the big game.
We did. As you know, we've been very loyal Bronco fans for many years, through the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we're here with them again this year, and obviously they're doing very good. They're playing a tremendous team, as we know. The Panthers are on fire, but I think in the end we're going to be comparing experience to inexperience, and it's going to be a very interesting game. I wish both teams the very best. Obviously, I want the Broncos to win.
Sure.
But I just hope it's a good game, and there's no.
You know, when it comes to the Super Bowl, I think that if you had 10 people in front of you, all 9 would say, I just want to see a good game. Personally, I do not like blowouts, especially with the Super Bowl.
Exactly. This is the ultimate, the end of the season, and it's when you get the best of the best. And when you have a lopsided game, and we've been there before with our team, it takes the fun. It really does. This one's going to be very interesting. We know the reputation, the quality of player that Peyton Manning is, and the praise that he gets from sports writers, and it'll be fantastic to see him go out on top. But he's playing a very good team, and no disrespect towards the Panthers. As I say, they've had a great season, so I just hope it's a great Super Bowl.
I love getting personal notes from Mayor Tom Hanel. How many generations of Hanels were in Denver with you guys at the game last weekend?
There are 3 generations, three Tom Hanels at the game. One was here at home, a little bit of a difficult trip for him, but 3 out of 4 is not bad.
And in the last couple of days or last week or so, what's been one of your major appearances that you spoke at or lunched at for the city of Billings?
You know, I'm going to be very quick to say, Larry, Robin and I attended, and very pleased to have the opportunity, the annual Egg Appreciation Banquet at the Rimrock Auto Arena. Huge event. The Chamber did a fantastic job. The staff at the Metro were well prepared. There again, Yellowstone Kelly's put on the food. They did a very nice job. There was about 300 more people this year than ever before. Been some great audiences in the past. This was one of the best. And what an importance for our area of the country, in business. So we need to show our support, and it was a great event.
Another great event coming up on Fat Tuesday, February 9th for the Billings Food Bank Mardi Gras. And I think it was back in 2013 that you, Mr. Hanel, and Robin passed the torch of the crowns off to Carrie and I as King and Queen of Mardi Gras. And we've been King and Queen now. This is going on our 3rd year. We passed the proverbial crowned cowboy hats off to new King and Queens this year, but that's coming up at the Holiday Inn Grand Montana. Change of venue, by the way, from the Billings Hotel, so maybe you and Robin can attend that as well, coming up on the 9th of February.
Well, we certainly, at this point in time, plan to be there and join in the festivities, show our support, and you and Terry have done a fantastic job. Hate to see you go out as the King and Queen, but let's hope the next couple coming in good as you have.
Well, we know we look pretty. We look awfully pretty, but we've enjoyed our reign as King and Queen of Mardi Gras for the Billings Food Bank. Looking forward to it again coming up on February 9th. Mayor Tom Hanel's got a busy day. Mayor Hanel from the city of Billings. Mayor, we appreciate your time, and we'll get together again next week, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Livin Large. You have a great day, and everyone be safe there. The weather's going to be beautiful. We tend to forget there's still a few busy spots, so let's be cautious.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. If I could sing, I'd sing to the rooftops about Brown's Automotive. Over 60 years now in Billings. Brown's Automotive. We use them, and there's 4 convenient locations. Brown's Auto Service on Broadwater. Brown's West Auto Service at the corner of Rosebud and 20th Street West. and 2 downtown locations, Automatic Transmission Company at 13th Street North and 1st Avenue North downtown, and Brown's Rebuild Center downtown at 18th Street North and 2nd Avenue North. And it's tune-ups, tire alignments, complete auto repairs, transmission specialist. Over 60 years in Billings. Brown's Automotive, BrownsAutoBillings.com.
Livin Large Larry Live.
All kinds of blinds in Billings. Our temperature check, 22, 35 expected for a high this afternoon. Maybe even a little bit of snow on the way. Complete forecast on the way. LivinLargeLarry.com. I'm kind of getting used to N2 cryotherapy. Carrie and I went for our 3rd or 4th visit over the weekend. N2 cryotherapy, wellness therapy, has been in Billings since last July with Cindy Graff and her team over at N2 Cryotherapy, 805 24th Street West, number 4. If you've got aches and pains, if you've got arthritis, if you're an athlete, this is the perfect routine as part of your pre or post workout. N2 Cryotherapy, give them a try. N2cryo.com, again in Billings at 805 24th Street West, number 4. N2 Cryotherapy. It's no secret I can't stand taxes. I mean, I don't hate the IRS. The IRS is just part of our life. But when it comes to taxes and this time of year, that's why I hire Lisa Woods Accounting, 1211 Grand Avenue, Suite number 4, for our personal family taxes as well as our business accounting needs as well. Obamacare, what does that mean for you on your taxes? You're probably missing a loophole that Lisa Woods can find for you. Get you a bigger refund. Lisa Woods Accounting, woodsaccounting.com in Billings. Billings' largest 2-day culinary event is coming up February 5th and February 6th. It is Taste of Billings at the Billings Depot. You can pay cash for your tickets over at Uber Brew downtown Billings, or you can get tickets online at billingsdepot.org. The Billings Depot hosts Taste of Billings 2 nights, February 5th, which is a Friday, and then Saturday night. It's a stand-up mingle, very casual event on the 5th, and then more of a 7-course plated dinner sit-down on Saturday, the 6th of February. It is becoming the region's biggest culinary event. Taste of Billings, Billings' largest 2-day culinary event at the Billings Depot. billingsdepot.org. Taste of Billings is coming up this weekend, this Friday and Saturday, actually. All kinds of blinds in Billings, time and temp check, all kinds of blinds, mt.com. Here about 7:15 and 22:35 later on. And Coach Chris Dixon from the Billings Wolves in just a little bit here. We'll talk Chris Dixon Sports, a new company he's actually launching, as well as what we can look forward to the second season of the IFL for the Billings Wolves on the way here from the Red Line Computer Studios, West Billings, Montana. Our World Wide Web show at livinlargelarry.com. The show name is Livin Large Larry Live on YouTube, TuneIn mobile apps as well, and the player you can listen to your computers, your tablets, and again your smartphones at livinlargelarry.com. That's all on the way here. All right, Livin Large Larry Live and livinlargelarry.com. Remember, there's no ever on livinlargelarry.com or on YouTube. You can click on YouTube there. Also, on your smartphones, just download the TuneIn app for iPhones and Androids for the show. Wow, Monday, the 1st of February. Tomorrow's Groundhog's Day. Will we have 6 more weeks of winter? We'll look into that later on today and for sure tomorrow. All kinds of blinds and billings. Temperature check 21. It'll be 35 for a high today. And as promised, Chris Dixon, head coach of the Billings Wolves and of Chris Dixon Sports. That's what your company's name, right?
Yep. Yes, it is.
Are you excited about your new company? I've been following you on Facebook.
I am.
And I knew that you would venture out and do something in addition to coaching the Billings Wolves. So talk a little bit about Chris Dixon Sports, how long it's been out in the infancy stages, and what we can expect helping kids around this area.
Well, it's been out since we've been starting up since like December. We've been trying to get everything rolling. It's been a plan for like a year.
Yeah,
and
good.
It's been going. It's a lot of great things coming up for the kids. We have and what Chris Dixon Sports is, it's a sports company trying to build youth sports in Billings. Of course, my focus is football, but I got a couple of other ventures.
I've seen you play basketball. You're okay. You do all right.
We're gonna eventually come out with a AAU travel basketball team.
Oh, that'd be
We're working
cool.
on that right now. It's in the works. A big time thing. We're gonna try to get these kids, and the focus is to get these kids an opportunity to go to college. There's so many things and so many reasons why kids don't finish what they start.
Right.
And a lot of kids go to high school and don't even finish.
I know a lot of adults that do that too. By the way.
Yeah, but a lot of kids go to high school and play sports and just say this is as far as I'm gonna go, when they really don't know the opportunities that's out there. Sometimes sports going to college ain't just about trying to go to the NFL
Right.
or the NBA. Sometimes it's networking. A lot of guys that I grew up with didn't go to the NBA or the NFL, but they networked while they were playing sports, and now they're able to do other things they want to do with
Sure.
their life. Sports gave me an opportunity. I mean, my life ain't just built on sports. It helped me network and, meet some great people, yourself included. And, I want to offer that opportunity, same opportunity to some kids.
Was there a gap in that before Chris Dixon Sports launched? Do you feel there was in Billings area? Do you feel there was a gap in that focus for kids?
Yes, and I thought the other gap was specific training for a sport like football. Kids at a young age don't know the significance of training for a sport for the season,
right.
Getting your body ready.
Sure.
And I want to teach them that. I want to teach them how to get their bodies ready, how to, stay focused, and they get a chance to learn the game of football from someone who's been through what they've been through and beyond. And to offer that opportunity year round instead of just in the summer, or now I'm offering the opportunity for kids to just train year round. If you're not playing another sport, you should be doing something.
Right.
We always screaming 60 minutes a day, get out and play 60 minutes a day, but really, where do we offer them to play for 60 minutes a day? And now with this way, it's not just about training the adult. It's about getting the kids to be healthy for the future as well. So it's a big thing to me.
So when this is all set and organized, and you get your kids involved, where will they be working out and taking direction from?
We're going to be at the Billings Sportsplex. Okay. We'll be doing full-time training over there. They'll learn from me. They'll learn from some other coaches I have, professional football players. We'll every year, starting this year, we'll be doing a high school combine. It's a showcase for them to have the opportunity to get in front of college coaches and show their abilities. We're going to do different little tournaments for kids, learning how to compete at a young age. We're always saying fun, but kids as they get older and get into middle school, high school, they don't know how to win and lose.
The right way.
That's taken out. Yeah, the right way. That's taken out these days. And we need to get back to the little things, teaching them, how to compete, and not compete in the way of, the parents taking over it, but the kids learning how to compete on a level that they can still enjoy it, but learning how to compete and seeing they score and saying, I got to work harder, or just teaching them those things.
As a dad, back when I'm still a dad of my kids, but they're 21 and 19 now, but back when they were kids, back in the Thunderbolt days of football here in Billings, My biggest challenge as a dad in coaching my kids and their friends in sports was to learn to lose the right way. Because, you always want to win and stuff, but there's a teaching mechanism for teaching kids how to lose the right way, and that it's okay to lose once in a while. You have to.
Yeah, and the biggest thing, it's you don't preach you lost, because that's negative.
Wow.
We lost. What you preach is, can we learn from this and get better from this? I coached the youth team this year in the Mighty Football League, and we lost. And the kids cried, and the first thing I said to them is, don't allow this to hurt you. Allow this to fuel you. And that's what I preach, to kids every day.
Well, you've learned a lot you were saying before we went on the air live that you've been in Billings now for around 10 years. And over those 10 years, you're an adult, but even over those 10 years, you've learned a lot in which to develop a company called Chris Dixon Sports to this level. So you've learned over the last 10 years and beyond that before it came to Billings, I'm sure.
Right. And the thing about Chris Dixon Sports is not just learned now, but it's been a lifetime building type of company. And what it is, I've been through almost every situation a youth athlete can ever go through. Remember, I grew up with a single mother. I grew up leaving my mother's house at the age of 12, going to live with my aunties and uncles. I grew up, going through high school, and I didn't go to the best high school. My high school today just found somebody, I think it was last week, with a gun, weed, everything on them. That's my high school.
Where was that at?
Richmond High School in California. And then you go, having a baby at the age of 18. I had a baby young, and still going off to college. I have a degree. So there's so many scenarios that these young people go through today that I've been through. I've been married. I've been through a life full of.
You got a cool family, though.
I got a lifetime full of stuff. Yeah, man, and I got different mothers, and but I take care of all my kids, and I have them, and I spend time with them, and I'm the first one to tell an athlete or a young guy, hey, don't do it the way I did it.
Yep.
Don't
for
get
you.
married. Do those things, and I tell my kids all the time, I went through the worst for you to have the best, and understand and appreciate the best, because you know what. I didn't have it growing up, and so, that's the communication. But, to get these kids to understand what life is about, you have to experience what they've been through as well. A lot of parents has never experienced what some of their kids experience. I know a lot of parents who, single mothers who come through both of their parents being married. Mm-hmm. They got to raise a kid as a single mother, and they trying to do things their parents did when they were married, but don't understand that there's a lot of things that you've never been through that you're trying to think your child is thinking the same way or doing the same thing. Or a father, who thinks life's over because he, him and the mother ain't together, but don't really understand that you have rights too. There's things you can have and still be in your child's life and enjoy your child without being with their mother.
You've been through the battles in life, and as you were talking, I was thinking that with Chris Dixon Sports and mentoring for kids, and it's I can tell it's not going to be all about sports, because when you deal with kids, age 5 to 17, let's say, you're going to be doing some counseling as well on life.
Right, and that's what we're building. I'm not like my slogan is competitive focus in the right direction. If you learn how to compete with yourself, you'll take that focus. So if I say I want to be the best football player, well, I'm gonna focus on that. And how do I become the best? And I'm gonna read about it. I'm gonna train about. I'm gonna do things that the best did.
Right.
And that becomes my focus. So if I'm focused on being the best football player I can be, I don't worry about what the world gives me, because now that takes me in the direction I should go. But if I'm focused on being the best, scientist I can be, well, everything else is irrelevant. I'm not worried about anything negative that's going on in the world. I'm gonna go focus on what I'm trying to do in my life, and that's what we trying to preach in general. We're built on bringing athletes in and those type of things, but when they leave me and leave my company and go off to live in life, I want them to be better leaders, fathers, mothers, people, you know, and understand that no matter what they go through in life, it will never defeat them. They can always win. They can always, long as they compete with themselves and fight through it, they'll be just fine.
Jeez, you have come a long way since you moved to Billings. We were talking before we went on the air again. You did some math, and it's about 10 years or so. And how do you see your growth from 10 years ago in Billings playing football? And what keeps you living in Billings, Montana? You could go anywhere. You know that, Chris Dixon.
I love Billings for, you know, many reasons, but two come to mind real quick. One is it's a town that comes together in a time of tragedy really well.
I.e. the tornadoes a couple of years ago.
And then it's a town that you know, my kids love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when my kid who lived in California came to Billings and wanted to move to Billings.
Says a lot.
Says a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, he lives in California. I mean, there's everything in the Bay Area.
I can picture that. We're moving to Billings, and the kid at his age says, "I'm going to hate it there."
Mm-hmm.
The attitude of "I'm going to hate it there," and now he's glad to be moved.
He loved it. He goes to Central.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. He's
he
an
loves
athlete
it.
in his own right too.
Yeah, he's doing his own thing, man. I stay out of the way. Hey, do you? And
I see you in the stands,
if you
though.
need me, yeah.
You cheer for him.
Yeah, but if you need me, I'm here.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna be a #1 fan
Right,
because you know I'm a father.
Right.
You know, but outside of that, it's about him. You know, his sports is his sports. I call him his sports because it's his time.
His own identity.
Yeah, and it's not like I tell him all the time. I've done what I wanted to do athletically. It's your turn.
That's
take
awesome.
this where you want to take it. I just want to support you.
Sure.
You know, but like I tell them, don't wake me up at 5 in the morning wanting to train and never taking it to the field. That's our rule in my house.
Let's turn to IFL football. Billings Wolves season number 2 coming up at Rimrock Auto Arena. But there was some news over the weekend, or probably late last week, that you and your team found out about the Minnesota Havoc no longer in the IFL.
Oh, it's a little shocking. Like I was telling you before we got on air, you know, we went to the coaches meeting and they seemed on board. Everything seemed fine. And within 24 days, I wouldn't even call it 30. Within 24 days, I mean, everything out there was changing about them.
What happened?
And then I don't know. I still don't know.
Operational issues, but
man,
that's pretty big.
I got it just like you guys got it, that they were leaving and, you know, our schedule was changing again. You know, the only thing I was worried about was the dates. Like, you know, you start planning things.
Right.
Like,
we have already.
Yeah. And so we none of our dates changed. You know, all of our home games are the same. We just got different opponents and.
Cool. It works. I checked the schedule, and it looks like it's going to be intact. And I think that the fans are looking forward to season number 2. Today's February 1st. Big date in
officially today we can start camp. So yeah, you'll see guys rolling in today. We get started Wednesday. We start with physicals, meetings, and then our first day of practice is Thursday morning, 8 a.m. And we're excited. We're gonna have an 8 a.m. kind of like a conditioning practice.
Right.
And then that night we always practice in the evening. We'll get started with our first real, you know, practice with the guys on the field, focusing on football.
Do you guys practice always indoors?
Always indoors at the sportsplex. Yep.
Okay, because I guess that's the atmosphere.
Yeah, and I'm sending out a schedule for our practices today.
Are those open?
We have 3 open practices
for
this year. So generally two of them are Sunday, and I think one is a Friday.
Yeah, they'll be publicized, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to those.
Because we have a big scrimmage February 14th, Happy Valentine's Day. So we're going to get up at 9 a.m. and have a scrimmage, and then.
Where will that scrimmage be at?
Live your life at the Sportsplex. Everything's at the Plex right now.
This is going to be exciting. Season number 2 for the Billings Wolves. And what do you see at the end of last season? The fans stuck by you, win or lose. So there was some great guidance there. In me being a fan with the Billings Wolves, what do you see the difference from last season going into this year? What'd you learn?
We need to develop a system. And, you know, that's one thing we focused on this off season is developing a system. Me as a coach, you know, there's going to be things different this year about me than it was last year. Last year, I felt like I had to teach guys how to be professionals, teach guys how to play the game. This year, I could just be coach.
Oh, because you've learned a little bit yourself.
I mean, I could be a little bit. I could let them do it. You know, it's kind of like guiding your little brother. you take them so far, and then it's like, I'm gonna be big brother now and just watch and let you develop, let you go through, leading the other little brother, and so we finally got some leadership. I feel like going into this year, we got some leadership. I think of it like this: last year I had a blank piece of paper, no writing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nothing.
Season 1.
Did not know anything about anybody. And we built a team. People was like, "Oh, we got so much change and turnover. We're not letting them develop." Well, I feel like if I would have let some guys stay around for so long last year, it would have hurt us, not help us. It would have hurt our growth. We wasn't growing in the beginning of the year,
right?
So that's why the changes came. And then once we finally grew, we finally got some guys in here who we feel can help us, not short term but long term.
End of the day, that's the goal.
That's the goal. We wanted to come into this season with some experience and some guys we wanted to keep around, some guys we needed to keep around, and not just build on the field, but some guys we can have around off the field. The key to winning isn't just about winning on the field, because we're not just built as the Billings Wolves, the players, coaching. We're built as Billings Wolves, the city. Billings first,
Billings
Wolves second.
Yeah.
And so last year was about bringing in Billings, keeping Billings, and keep bringing them in this year. But now it's built on the Wolves. And so how did we do both? Well, now the city, as you said, at the end of the season, win or lose, stayed with us, which was great. Now we built that. Now we have some leadership and some players who I know, everybody knows. We have now that built. Now the key is taking it one step, one day at a time, getting better together. So the turnover I had last year, I won't have that big of a turnover. I mean, I had 5 quarterbacks to get to Dak Britt.
Holy crap.
I had 16 different receivers play last year. But out of all that, I mean, you got to think I had 11 offensive linemen. I got, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you don't think about it, but I do. And there's things I got.
That's your job.
Yeah, and to understand why you had all that, you got to understand your rhyme or reasoning to get in there.
But if you had, here's my analogy when I want to do something like this: is I always line up 10 people, virtual people, in front of me. I think 9 would understand that turnover in a first league like the IFL Billings Wolves last year, and like you mentioned, turnover was going to happen. I think they accept that. As a fan, when there was major turnover again and again and again, as a fan, I'm thinking that's just part of growing your team. I would hope that 9 out of 10 fans would know that in front of you.
And if you looked at us though, I mean, if you really look at us, break us down. Don't just say, oh, they lost. Right. I mean, let's break down the last year. 3 overtime games.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 games we lost in the last minute. I'm talking about.
You're right.
So that's. I mean, we went 5 and 9.
And that could have gone very easily the other way.
Right.
With those.
Think about it. We went in every game. Every game we were winning at some point. We were winning in the game. So our first 0-5 start, we lost 2 overtime games, and 2 in the last minute. So
that's tough too.
If you really want to break us down, we competed last year when we wasn't expected to.
Right.
We wasn't expected to even be a team that on everybody's radar. But if you think about the end of the season, we won 4 out of 5, which
that was exciting.
Which the one we lost, we were winning with 30 seconds left.
Yes, with all those little bullet points you mentioned, if those went the other way, oh my.
But no, if we were a year older,
yeah, which you are now,
maybe those games go another way. You got to think, Dak Britt went through 3 overtimes last year. So when the overtime maybe come up this year,
he knows how to handle it.
We'll be handling it. I, as a coach, went through the ups and downs. You got to remember, as a coach, as a player, I lost more games last year as a coach than I did as a player in 5 years in the IFL.
That's different for Chris Dixon.
I mean, that's different. Yeah. You know, like when you, in my career in the IFL, I've lost 5 games. 5 games. That's all we won last year. Right. But I mean, so
being a coach, you take off a different chunk of football. Being a coach,
and this is what I tell everybody: going into this year, this is truly becoming the first year of Chris Dixon, the coach. I mean, you got to remember, last year was like Peyton Manning and Brock Osweiler. Okay.
Montana Bull.
Even though I didn't play, I was still teaching a young quarterback how to be a quarterback. Now, I can be Gary Kubiak, and Dak can be the quarterback.
That's an understandable analogy. That's
Now I can say, all right, this is what we're running today. You got to lead your team. I don't have to go show him how to do it. He knows.
Wasn't there a time last year? This probably didn't sound like a joke. Wasn't there times last year? I was sitting 5 rows back at midfield. I watched how you guys worked. Come on, Chris. Didn't you want to strap on the helmet, put a mouth guard in, go out there and toss the ball around?
No, I toss the ball around every day in practice.
As fans, we were telling you to go in.
I know, man,
Go in.
and I couldn't.
Take
But
it with a grain of salt.
and a lot of people say you're only 34 years old.
Yeah,
you can still get on the field.
Yeah.
And physically, a lot of people see me play around, do flag football. Man, you can still. Honestly, my goal in life is to give to somebody else. It ain't about me.
You've done your playing days, and you're okay with that now.
I don't even reflect on it on my playing days anymore.
Do you like following players in the IFL? Not just with the Billings Wolves or the old Outlaws or whatever, but do you like following IFL players that make it to the NFL?
I do. And I always talk to a couple of guys because I played against them. And
it happens.
Some of them ask me all the time, like, man, how did you get your work ethic and those type of things. I mean, I'm also a mentor to a lot of indoor football quarterbacks that, we talk or they Facebook me and those type of things, and ask me how you win so many MVPs, championships, those type of things. And so that's what I'm saying. Chris Dixon Sports ain't just built on just the youth. I mean, I deal with people nationally. Every day I get a phone call from quarterbacks, different players that want to be great, and always asking me questions. So
you love that part.
I do, man. I love giving back.
Well, I'm glad that Chris Dixon Sports is here. It's launched. I think that your business plan is perfect. It's understandable, and I wish you huge success. Dewan Edwards saw something on Facebook the other day. How do you know Dewan, and how's that relationship?
Me and Dewan got to know each other about 6 years ago, and he was doing a camp, and he asked me to help him out, and I was playing. It was when I was here playing, and I was like, yeah. Since that day, we've just been cool. I talked to him about yesterday. Yeah, called me and we were talking. I told him congrats, and his focus is to keep building, and I think he's done a great job. I think his camp will be back this summer. It wasn't here last year, but it'll be back this summer, and he got some great things going on that to help Montana as well. And so we've been talking about hooking up and doing some things together and giving back to the kids of Billings.
So who do you root for, Panthers or the Broncos?
It's rough. That's a rough situation.
I
told him on the phone. This is what I told him on the phone. I said, hey man,
be real.
I love you, man, but I'm a big Bronco fan too, and it's rough. He's like, I know everybody in Montana like that. So we had a good conversation.
Well, guess
about
what,
it.
Chris?
But
not everybody in Montana follows the Broncos. Kerry and I actually, we respect the Broncos. We're fans of the Kansas City Chiefs. Don't you have some? Isn't there some history with the Chiefs in your family?
Trayvon. Oh, he's a Chief fan. Yeah. I tell Trey, man, every time we gonna beat y'all. But my house is weird. I got a weird house. So I'm a Bronco.
Right.
Trey is a Chief. Krishan's a Panther. Donovan is a Seahawk. My daughter's a Bronco. My girlfriend's a Cowboy.
Oh,
we have a terrible house. I'm telling you.
Jerseys on the couch.
But I tell them, if it ain't blue and orange, it is not being hung in my house.
When you were in California, though, have you been a Bronco fan?
Always been a Bronco fan.
Serious? When you were a kid?
John Elway, baby.
Really?
Where you from?
I love Elway.
California. He's a California kid.
Yeah,
Stanford, Granada Hills. Yep.
Yeah, well, that's awesome.
And I'm a Cal Berkeley fan, and I hated Elway because he was a Stanford. So my life is weird, man. I don't like anything LA. And so when I was growing up, the Raiders were in LA.
You didn't care?
I didn't like the Raiders. No, I didn't like them. They're LA Raiders.
You was a Bronco fan, of course.
Like I used to kind of like the Rams. I hate them now. They're in LA. Anything LA, you would not give me to like an LA team. Because it's just that rivalry, You got to think, California's 2 states.
You think Chargers will come back to go to?
No, if they fans don't do it this year, they're gone.
So one more season in San Diego?
Yeah, they got one more. They're gonna go one more year in San Diego. Is the way I'm being told.
Give it a try, yeah. Hopefully that's not.
Well, the Raiders gonna lose a lot of fan base.
Yeah.
They go to San Antonio or Vegas.
There's a lot of Raiders fans in Billings, which you.
Well, that's worldwide. Raiders probably got the biggest fan base. Them are the Steelers.
Raider Nation.
Yeah.
No, but I've been even through the bad years. My whole family's been Chiefs fans. The kids were born out there. We lived out there. We've been Chiefs fans for our whole life, and even back when I was a kid, my brother, back in the Len Dawson days, my brother is a Chiefs fan. He got me turned on to it. All right, Billings Wolves, first game February 20th, and are the Storm one of the big rivals for the Wolves?
We're not a rival yet.
No
we
rivalry.
have to earn that.
You got to
right.
earn the rivalry.
We have to earn that right to become a rivalry with the Storm. In order to call yourself a rivalry, you got to compete in that rivalry. And we're not worried about the Storm right now. This year, we're not focused on anybody else but ourselves. That's one thing we're preaching. We're not looking for the future. As a group, I'm not. A lot of people might think I'm crazy, but we're not preaching a lot of things that most people think I should preach this year.
Well, you're the coach, not us.
Yeah, right. And so we're gonna change. We're gonna change a lot about what we do this year, and a lot of people. And I don't want to talk about it really. I want you to see it.
Sure.
And once you see it, you'll understand. At the end of the year, we'll have our normal conversation, and if we do well, you'll understand. And I'll break down what we did this year. But we're gonna do a lot of different things this year, and we're gonna preach a different way. I had a whole off season of reading. Let me tell you.
I bet you're off season.
It was, and it wasn't just focused on recruiting. It was focused on reading. Read from some of the greatest leaders in the world, not just coaches and athletes, but the world leaders. And how did they get in these positions they got in, and what took them there? It's amazing.
It's a lot of work in the offseason.
It is, man. Let me tell you, I have never done so much reading. Not even in college.
Wow.
I didn't do this much reading. And, to learn some of the things I've learned this year, I'm excited. I am. I mean, we're already implementing things. I got a coaching staff that grinds every day. We talk all the time, so.
I was at the Billings Wolves open house a couple weeks ago at the Rimrock Auto Arena, and I was, they're hanging out with you guys and just kind of watching your team, and how they interact with the youth and even adults. And the team members that were there seemed pretty approachable, which is what.
So we're gonna be it's gonna be a good year.
Well, I'm part of the Wolves too,
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be your MC on the field.
Well, you gotta have a voice, man. Energy. We need your energy, man.
I may be giving you crap on the mic once in a while.
Hey, I don't mind.
Don't take it personally.
I can take it.
Well, luckily, we've known each other for years, so you'll know that's just Larry just doing his BS. So, all right, Chris Dixon, looking forward to it. What's your website for Chris Dixon Sports?
ChrisDixonSports.com.
Jeez, that's so easy. ChrisDixonSports.com. Fair enough. I'm proud of you. I know your business will do well, and just so you know, you guys had, as Wolves, you had about 20,000 fans last year. No pressure, but I bet those and more come back this year for you.
Well, let's go after 60, Billings. Let's do it. Let's do it. The Billings, I'm calling you out. This is our year. We want the fan Billings. They got a big award in the IFL called Fan Base of the Year. Let's win it. Let's win it.
Now we know that.
Let's win it.
All right, Chris Dixon, excited for Billings Wolves Season 2, the Rimrock Auto Arena. Good to have you on our show.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time, and we'll get back together again. Livin Large Larry live, livinlargelarry.com. Our Billings area forecast from Jade Furman of Landmark Realtors, montanaproperty.com. She can provide a market analysis to clients wanting to list and sell their home, including specialized consulting in current trends and colors and styles and modifications and more. Jade Furman of Landmark Realtors, montanaproperty.com. A bit of snow may stick to the ground in Billings this week, at least for the first part of the week, about a half inch to an inch, and then it should be all melted again by midweek to the latter part of the week. So around 30 today, a bit of a breeze blowing around, mid-30s by the middle part of the week, and then closer to 45 or so by the weekend. Expanded look at the forecast, log on to livinlargelarry.com, click on the weather button. Meantime, the forecast on the show from Broughton Construction and Home Repair, Braaton. Broughton Construction and Home Repair, offering 30 years of experience in concrete, remodeling, roofing, and siding, as well as a specialized consulting service to revitalize your home for improved livability or increased value prior to sale. Broughton Construction and Home Repair, Find them on Facebook. The Billings Morning News from Rimrock Flooring at 1440 Central Avenue in Billings. RimrockFlooringMT.com. They belong to known buying groups. That's going to help keep the cost down for the consumers, for you. Rimrock Flooring, again, 1440 Central Avenue. As we utilize KTVQ.com, the Billings Gazette, and Color 8 for most of our gathering of actual news stories on this show. Restaurateurs and health department officials are teaming up to promote food handling training to comply with the new state of Montana regulations. Beginning January 1st, all food servers in Montana were required to have one staff member certified on safe food handling practices, mostly through a training program known as Serve Safe. The new regulation was introduced by the State Department of Public Health and Human Service in 2015, but included a year-long grace period to allow restaurants to comply. According to Marilyn Tapia of Riverstone Health in Billings, only about 60% of Yellowstone County food servers, including restaurants, convenience stores, nursing homes, and others, had completed the training. Non-compliant businesses risk a black mark at their next health inspection. The violations don't come with a fine. Ask yourself, where is the accountability in that? Beartooth Harley-Davidson hosted the annual Munchie Bowl event held a week before Santa Clara hosts Super Bowl 50. 16 teams brought their best dishes. About 300 enjoyed the Super Bowl party food. They all voted, and a panel of 6 judges tasted for the championship recipes. Knuckles Up, by the way, won the People's Choice and Judges' Choice Awards for its pork-stuffed jalapeno popper with a bacon wrap. Road Rash won the Best Booth Award, and proceeds from the Munchie Bowl go to Trinity Lutheran School. Booking photos or mug shots of criminal defendants are now public records in Montana that must be released to the news media. We touched on this a little bit last week on the show. In October, State District Judge John Oldenburg of Lewistown ordered a mug shot or booking photo released in Park County, saying it is public justice information. Citing this ruling, Attorney General Tim Fox in December declined to issue an Attorney General's opinion sought by Gallatin County Attorney Marty Lambert on the issue. But the public release of booking photos has varied around the state of Montana. Some law enforcement agencies have made these photos available when news media requests them, while others have refused. Mike Malloy, a Helena lawyer who represents the Montana Freedom of Information Hotline, said the court decision and Attorney General's letter have settled the question that mugshots must be made available to the media from here on out. People in and around Lincoln, Montana may have felt their world shake a little bit over the weekend on Saturday due to a small earthquake. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, a 4.2 magnitude earthquake happened at about 12:30 on Saturday afternoon. The quake was centered about 13 miles west of Lincoln, 29 miles northwest of Helena, and 65 miles southwest of Great Falls. Several people in Lincoln and Helena reported feeling the quake. It was recorded at a depth of about 5.3 miles. There have been no reports of injuries or damage. Happened on Saturday afternoon. Stillwater Mine union workers ratified a new 4-year contract late last week. More than 800 workers will be affected by the 2/3 contract approval by the United Steelworkers Local 11-001. Stillwater Mine in Nye and Columbus laid off 119 workers back in August of last year as part of what the company called a reorganization. And while the specifics are not released of the contract, it's similar to the final contract offer provided back in September, which meant no base wage increase for 2 years. So at least there's some sort of settlements there. Rimrock Flooring in Billings at 1440 Central Avenue and RimrockFlooringMT.com bring you the Billings Morning News. Their showroom is not discontinued flooring. It is all up to date. Available flooring. You can pick some up today. Check out their 5,000 square foot showroom. Rimrock Flooring, 1440 Central in Billings. All kinds of blinds in Billings. All kinds of blinds. MT.com. Log on. Temperature check at 22, mid-30s through about midweek, and even glancing at our expanded forecast at livinlargelarry.com, the weather button there says close to 50 again by Saturday and Sunday, jumping way ahead here. Live and Large Larry Live, the show. Our replay sponsor is from Keystone Mortgage in Billings. Their Main in the Heights location still open, but I stopped by their new location downtown Billings at Keystone Mortgage, a much more spacious space. Keystone Mortgage, our replay sponsor. You're not just a number, you're our number one priority from Keystone Mortgage.